Picture this. Two candidates walk into the same interview, same 6 years of experience, same background. One of them rambles for 4 minutes and never actually lands the point. The other one talks about 90 seconds and the hiring manager leans forward. Only one of them gets the callback, and it's got nothing to do with experience. Hey, I'm Damon. I coach mid-career folks through their jump into project management. And on almost every call, I hear the same thing. Someone's done the work, they've led projects, solved real problems, deliver real results. But the second an interviewer asks, tell me about a time you led without formal authority, they freeze. Or they ramble for 5 minutes and say nothing. So today I'm going to show you the framework I use to fix that. It's called Spark. And I'm going to rebuild a real weak answer into a strong one live so you can see exactly what changes. Okay, so here's what most people believe. You've got about 4 minutes to make a good impression, and if you fumble the opening, you're toast. That's not true. And honestly, believing it is costing people the job. A group of researchers went through over 600 real interviews. Here's what they found. Only 4.9% of hiring decisions happen in the first 60 seconds, and almost 70%, 69.6% to be exact, happen after the 5-minute mark, once you're actually into the questions. So the handshake isn't deciding anything, your answers are, which means the real problem was never nerves, and it was never your resume. It's that most career changes have never turned the experience into a story that actually answers the question. Good news, that's fixable. Here's a plot that actually surprised me. A researcher named Katherine Hansen found that behavioral questions, the tell me about a time once, predict job performance at 55% accuracy. Regular questions like, what's your greatest strength, predict performance at 10%. 10. And Smith and Hunter, two of the most cited names in hiring research, found that structured behavior interviews are one of the strongest predictive tools we've got. So when a hiring manager asks for a specific story, they're not just making conversation. They're running the single best test they have for whether you will actually do the job well. Which means a rambling answer isn't just annoying to listen to. You're failing the actual test. That's exactly why Sparks exist. Spark stands for situation, problem, actions, results, knowledge gains. Let me show you what that actually looks like. Here's a weak answer, the kind I hear all the time. So there was this one time we were switching over our whole inventory system. And it was honestly a huge mess because nobody really knew what was going on. And I ended up being the person everyone came to with questions, which was stressful because I wasn't even the manager. And there were a lot of meetings, so many meetings, and people from different departments who never really worked together before. And I had to kind of figure out how to get everyone on the same page, which took a while, but eventually it got done. I think it went pretty well overall. That's it for run-on sentences and 0 numbers. Now watch what happens when we rebuild it with Spark. First, the situation. Our company migrated to a new inventory system across 4 departments. I was the operations coordinator, not the project lead. Then the problem. The vendor gave us a 6-week timeline. 3 of those departments had never coordinated with each other before, and nobody owned that coordination. Here's what I actually did. I built a shared tracker with deadlines for each department. I ran 2 15-minute check-ins a week instead of relying on email threads. And when I caught a date mismatch between warehouse and sales in week 2, I pulled both leads into one meeting before it could start the whole migration. Now the results. We went live 2 days ahead of the 6-week deadline, with 0 inventory discrepancies in the first month. The pre-system change hadn't managed that. And here's what I took from it. I learned that coordination doesn't happen on its own. Someone has to actively own it. That was the moment I realized I was already doing project management work. I just didn't have the title yet. Same person, same experience, completely different outcome in that room. Quick thing before we keep going. If you want help building your own Spark stories, I put together a free tool called the PM Script Builder. You answer 5 prompts about your own experience, and it walks you through building your own 90-second story, just like we did here. Links in the description, go build one this week. Now I see the same 4 mistakes over and over when people try this on their own. 1. Spending too long on situation and problem. You've got 90 seconds total. If you burn 60 of them on backstory, there's nothing left for the part that matters. 2. Vague actions. I communicated with the team. Tells the interviewer nothing. What did you actually do? What decision did you make that somebody else in that room wouldn't have made? 3. No numbers in the results. Every result needs something you can count. Time saved, money saved, people involved, percentage improved, something. If you can't count it, keep working on the story until you can. 4. Skipping knowledge gained completely. That's the piece that shows growth, not just competency. It's usually the difference between a good answer and one the interviewer actually remembers. I want to leave you with one story. A client of mine, I call her Hannah, has 6 years of project management experience, including leading a PMO team. When she came back to the job market, she couldn't land a single interview. When we sat down together, she talked for 3 to 5 minutes per question, no structure, no numbers, and she knew it wasn't working. So we took her 3 biggest projects and built 8 Spark stories to cover the 12 question types she was most likely to face. We went through every sentence together, round after round, until each one was tight. A few days after we finished, she had 3 back-to-back interviews. In one of them, the hiring managers called to move her to the next round just 30 minutes after she walked out. That's not luck. That's what happens when your experience finally has a structure that lets it show up in the room. If you build your own Spark stories this week, you are doing the exact same work Hannah did. Grab the script builder in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.